You ready to walk through kind of a simple P&L?
Let's do it.
So I would call this a baseline, simple profit and loss statement for a single channel seller. So this particular seller only sells on Amazon. A couple of things I want to bring to your attention, and then I'll show you a more complex example, is your accounting system is going to give you the ability to use a numbering matrix. And you might ask yourself, well, why the heck would I want to do that? Well, the reason is that numbers allow you to override the natural alphabetizing that Xero or QuickBooks or Online or NetSuite or whatever you might use for your accounting. Those softwares don't know what's more important to you or less important, so it's just going to alphabetize it. But as an investor, and again, Nate, you and I both view ourselves as investors first. Like, I want to understand enterprise value. The cleanest way to present my profitability is to have a clear picture of gross sales. The seller did about $31,000 in December in gross sales. Then what's the clear picture of the impact of, from an accounting standpoint, they would call this like contra accounts. You've got promotional discounts, you've got some refunds. FBA might find some inventory they lost and give you a reimbursement. And then I want to be able to understand the net sales. So how did my Amazon.com, for this seller, for instance, how did that sales channel perform in a given month? The second thing I want to mention from this example is that you got to have your books and your financials stated in an accrual fashion. That means I'm actually capturing the sales and the cost of goods sold in the month they happened as much as we practically can, instead of just expensing the inventory when I purchased it 3 months ago and just capturing the revenue when Amazon makes a 14-day deposit. You don't want your revenue and your expenses to be all over the place. And this example on the screen here kind of shows you why.
I want to pipe in real quick here too.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we see this all the time. Accrual-based businesses sell for more than cash-based businesses. And if you've got a business that's holding inventory, it's damn near impossible to sell it unless it's on accrual, because that's just the industry standard.
So thank you for saying that. I mean, it's a validation of our model, but at the same time, it just makes sense. Like, an investor can't understand the most basic question. Tyler, did you make money last month? You can't answer that most basic question unless you try with some integrity and with a system to line up the expenses with the revenue. And here's the reason you want to do this, even if you aren't going to sell, even just as a CEO that wants to make money. Let's compare December and January on this random P&L here. I want you to notice that the net sales amount was about equal. It's $400 more in December than it was in January, but it's essentially the same sales. But when I look down at my gross profit, I made over $1,000 more gross profit in December than I did in January. Here's why this is important. This made it seem like that big a deal. If I have tight accrual accounting, this is going to make me pause and ask some really important questions, Nate. Why the hell did I make an extra $1,000 selling the exact same amount of goods 1 month over another? And it's going to give me some insights and visibility into why my business is performing. Not just whether it's performing, but why it's performing. And the second thing down here, notice the second kind of line of the expense section is the advertising. Not only did December make $1,000 more in gross profit, but once we factor in the advertising budget, it actually made $2,000 additional dollars in profit. And so there's some important, kind of think about it like you're flying a plane. Your financials need to give you the visibility where there's some dashboard dials that are saying, hey, advertising's out of whack. Hey, fulfillment's out of whack. Hey, refunds is a problem. We need to do a quality assurance check with our supply chain. And that's another reason you just need to have really simply stated financials.
Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications about new videos and interviews. And introduce yourself in the comments. Are you a buyer or a seller?